Has it ever happened to you where you just wake up, first thing you do, you take your phone, you have a million messages, you have a million things to do, you don't know where to start?
They're in freeze mode because it's just a constant state of reacting.
What did I learn? How will I apply this in my business? And what is one belief that has been shifted? Knowledge without application is lost.
If you want to be proactive, you've got to have a system in play that makes content easy. I've got content stacked up, but I still create every single day.
Now I have a Miro board with every reel that I post, every story that I post, and I have all the stats next to it. Every dollar you make in your business needs to be tracked.
Volume is being pushed a lot more than it has been in the past.
Application and being intentful with it.
If you want to scroll as a consumer, you scroll on Instagram. If you want to scroll as a business, as a brand owner, you scroll on edits.
So that right there is me being proactive in solving future problems for my clients.
Money in your time is the most important thing in your life and in your business.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Brand Creator Podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about efficiency and how to utilize efficiency correctly as a creator, as a business owner, to buy back your time, the difference between a proactive and a reactive creator and business owner, and how to become that proactive business owner / creator. So you're ahead of your problems and you're not always reacting on a day-to-day. Because has it ever happened to you where you just wake up, first thing you do, you take your phone, you have a million messages, you have a million things to do, you don't know where to start? Today's episode is going to give you some clarity on how to combat that and how to become proactive so you are actively solving problems and future problems before they even happen within your business and within your brand. Anything to add, Dudley?
I think we're all about on the right lines there. Yeah, there's so many coaches think that they're doing a lot, but they're doing nothing. They're in freeze mode because it's just a constant state of reacting to this just a constant reactive decisions that leads them to just end up being frozen. But when you're proactive and you're looking at the right things, you're doing the right things at the right time, you'll enjoy your life a lot more. And you'll stop just being that mental masturbator that we always talk about in freeze mode. So it's about just lining everything up in the right order. Like, what do you do as soon as you wake up? What do you do as soon as you wake up? Like, do you jump on your phone? Did you go through your emails? Do you scroll through social media? Or do you have a routine that's kind of off of that? What's the most productive thing for you?
For me personally, I wake up, I pray, and then I read. I wake up, pray, read, and watch a video. That's that one of my favorite creators who are making more money than me have put out, so I can always stay on top of my game. And I take notes, right? I take notes. At the same time as I'm reading, I have my notebook open, and I'm highlighting the book, right? I'm highlighting. So then when it's time to take notes, then I just look at the highlighted parts, and I answer these couple questions. What did I learn? How will I apply this in my business? And what is one belief that has been shifted? So I have these 3 questions I answer on a day-to-day basis, right? So this allows me to constantly improve as a human and to stay ahead of myself and to be an eternal student. And I like what you said in the beginning. To avoid being a mental masturbator, it's very, very important that you do answer these 3 questions, because now you have actionable steps. Not only did you intake knowledge, but what are you going to do without application? Knowledge without application is lost. That's why I don't remember shit from my algebra classes in high school. And that's why you guys don't remember shit either, unless you're some fucking engineer or something, right? So application, right? Application and being intentful with it. And then I watched that informative video from either a YouTube video from my mentor or a YouTube video from anyone else in the info space or any other creator. Someone that I like a lot. Her name is Personal Brand Launch. Shout out to Personal Brand Launch. I don't know if you know her, Dudley.
No, I don't think I've heard of it.
She's crazy, bro. Go binge her channel. Go binge her channel, bro. So much free value in there. So much free value in there. And free value like that, what it allows me to do is now I have other people, right, giving me the latest information about the market. So the free value like that from the YouTube, it's more so for what I'm going to teach my clients. What I'm going to teach my clients after applying it to them. So for example, the other day I was watching this page, the Personal Brand Launch. The video was how to grow as a creator in 2026. And there was a lot of information that I didn't cover in my modules for my program. So what did I do? I took the notes, I started adapting it to online fitness coaching, and then I made it into modules. So that right there is me being proactive in solving future problems for my clients. because the topic of that video was 0 to 10K, 10 to 50K, 50 to 100K followers. So I wrote it down, I systemized it in my own personal way, and then I condensed it and made it digestible for my clients. So that is proactivity right there. That for me is the definition of proactivity when it comes to doing more for your clients and providing the best value you possibly can for these people, right? For the reading, what I do with it is the reading helps me articulate content ideas. It helps me come up with content ideas. So, for example, and also things to teach my clients. Like if I'm reading Persuasion, this book by Robert Cialdini, and the other day I dropped a video about it because I was spitting game to my client, and I always record everything. By the way, another thing of proactivity. I have my camera here, right, and I have my client meeting, and I'm on OBS all day, and I have 24 hours of my day recorded on OBS, so I can go back and take the content of everything that I say. So that another like that's a parenthesis of another way I'm proactive. So what I was telling her is that a lot of PTs might be watching this channel, and she was a PT as well, trying to transition to online. If you're a PT trying to transition online, and you haven't proactively spoken to your PT clients about, possibly including a meal plan in their PT service, but starting check-ins online, then what are you doing? You're missing the entire point of proactivity. You're missing the entire fucking point. And I was telling her, I tied it to persuasion. What I read that morning, persuasion is persuasion before the sale, persuasion before you actually have to convince them. And if you're a PT, your clients that you're training in person, they're already persuaded to buy from you. They've been paying for your services already, and they associate you with results. So they already know, like, and trust you. So proactively, what you must do in your position is close them for the online package, because they're going to do it. You should have like an 80% closing rate with these guys. So
Yeah,
what do you do, Dudley, in the when you get up?
yeah. So there are a lot there, weren't there? Probably more. You're probably more structured than me. I'm not reactive, but I thrive in chaos. My creativity thrives in chaos. So my approach is a little bit different. I do like to kind of get out and get steps and get fresh air with something on in my headphones and just taking notes. I think, like you said, the thing about just using free value, there's so much of it on the internet, and taking some of that free value that you listen to, might be from multiple people, and then putting it in your way to then translate that to your audience. Because everyone thinks that you have to reinvent the wheel and create something new, and you need to have fresh new ideas, and you're not allowed to take this from this person because everything's got to be your methods and what you do. No, you can listen to other people and other ways and other methods, and then it's just about altering it, tinkering it in a bit to a way that feels right for you and your business. So I like to just listen to other people that I trust. I think you can't do it to too many people. You've got to maybe have a select, maybe 3 to 5 people at an absolute max where you're like, right, these are the people. It was the same with me with my online coaching business. I had the 3 to 5 big time coaches. You might be like the John Jewett, it might be like Trained by JP. They would be the guys, Milo Sarchev or something like that. Like those are the guys that I might look at and say, okay, cool, I like the information that they put out, and then I'll maybe take a bit from this one, bit from this one, bit from this one, and then that's how my methodologies are all made. And it's same in the business side of stuff, who we're looking at on a personal brand level, what mentoring pages I'm looking at in a business way, and pulling ideas from that. So that's what I like to do, just try and think, okay, well, what sounds new to me today? What haven't I heard before, and how can I make a note of that? And then it's scrolling social media, and it's so easy to get trapped in the scroll. But one way I kind of get around that is, rather than scrolling directly on Instagram for that first morning block when I know I'm in the freshest mind space, I'll use edits to scroll. So I don't know if you've ever used edits to scroll before, but it gives you a lot of information. Like you can literally get their insights. So it'll tell you the reach, it'll tell you the share percentage, the save percentage, the comment percentage. And as you're scrolling as well, it'll also tell you if this is a highly saved reel, highly shared reel, high engagement reel. So you're not just scrolling. If you want to scroll as a consumer, you scroll on Instagram. If you want to scroll as a business, as a brand owner, you scroll on edits in your work blocks. because then you'll remove so much friction of having to say, okay, did I like this or whatever, whatever. You can say, well, the data liked this. And that's the thing that matters most. Yes, it's good to be like, yeah, I liked this. But if the data likes this, then you can pull from that. And they've also got kind of a little plus on the side as well where you can add notes. So as you're scrolling down, it doesn't ever go away. So you can literally watch a reel and then there's a little button on the side. You can press it, and it immediately goes to the notes section within that, and you can write notes. So I use that to proactively scroll instead of just instead of just getting caught up in the consumer scroll. So they're the two main things that I do: get out, get some clear headspace with headphones on, take notes from what other people are saying in recent videos, and then just get on the scroll, because our job is on social media and we need to see what's working, what's not working. Is there anything new that I can kind of identify for today's calls that we've got, so I can talk about it with others, and also coming up with ideas for myself, because I've been pumping out content. And just like you said, the reason I've been able to pump out content, as we've said this before, like we have different strategies. You post maybe like 3-4 times a week. That's your strategy. You're more targeted and direct like that. Whereas I'm more like 3 times a day. Like I've got 2 pages and I post 2 to 3 times a day on both of those pages with a high volume approach. That's how I build a lot of trust with my personality. But what we're saying, yeah, podcasts and stuff like this that we're doing right now, filming everything, every opportunity. That's all and it's made it so, because I've been with one-to-one clients. I've obviously been still doing my calls, my coaching, my check-in stuff, but I've still been able to smash out this amount of content, this volume of content, because of the long form that I've been doing and because I've been filming myself all the time. And then I just bang it into something like Riverside, let it come up with the magic clips, tinker it to how I want, and then it can go straight out. So yeah, you gotta, if you want to be proactive, you gotta have a system in play that makes content easy. Because now I've got so much content like lined up. I've got content stacked up, but I still create every single day. I still
Mm-hmm.
create every single day to stay on top.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's a great segment right there about being proactive about um, creating the specific content. But something that I've been doing as well, and the reason I slowed down is because I wanted to be more on the ball with proactively tracking my results. But now,
Yeah.
since I have a system, since I've proactively created that system of tracking the results, now I have a Miro board with every reel that I post, every story that I post, and I have all the stats next to it. And I have a label like what kind of post is this? Authority, personal nurture, is it a conversion post? Like what is it? What is it exactly? And I have all the stats and I have all the followers, every freaking icon, every icon that comes from that reel. So now I see, is this a qualified follower or is this an unqualified follower? And yeah, so now my posting volume has actually gone up. The only reason I slowed down is because I wanted to be more in control of the numbers and understand, okay, this
Yeah.
person, this dollar, ultimately, where is this dollar coming from? Is it coming from stories? Is it coming from reels? Is it coming from this type of reel? Is it coming from when I'm starting to do trends? Is it coming from when I'm a bit more philosophical in my content? Is it coming from I'm a bit more personal, or is it come when I say my client made XYZ in a month? Here's exactly how he did it. But what I
Yeah.
realized is it's kind of a mix of everything. You need all of it, right? You need all of it. So, but you don't know that. You don't know that until you specifically and proactively look at the numbers and stay ahead of the curve. I'm crazy with the data. I'm crazy with the numbers because I think we can all agree, just like in bodybuilding, every gram of rice needs to be tracked. So every dollar you make in your business needs to be tracked from the origin point. Who gave it to you? Why did they give it to you? And once you can start um, stacking these systems together, once you can start implementing these systems in your business, that's when you start buying back your time without hiring anyone. Because there's 2 ways to buy back your time: there's delegation or there's systems, and there's being proactive. So just think about it. I could spend another 2-3 months guessing what content work posting randomly. But now, since everything is much more intentional and I have clear data in front of me, I don't have to spend that time guessing. So I'm buying back 2 months. I'm buying back 2 months. And
Did you
if you
not find
start
it
thinking,
slower? Did you not find it slower trying to figure that out? Because the method that I go when I'm trying to figure out what content and what doesn't, the
mhm,
more I post, the more I understand. Because the more data that I've kind of got to go off, I can see what's getting replied to. I can see what's generating like messages, comments, response. And if I'm posting 3 times a day, I can say, right, I've posted this amount of content this week, so I can see what works and what hasn't worked, and then I can just bin off and start to double down on the ones that do work. With posting slower, what I personally found, because I was probably, like I said, I'm more chaotic when it comes to creativity like that. That's my how I like to work.
mhm.
I've found it didn't stimulate me enough in terms of the feedback that I was getting. I like a lot of feedback, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. It does make sense, brother. It does make sense. And that's something I would tell anyone who works with me that especially when they're starting out and especially when they're trying to figure out that initial data. But the reason I pulled back initially was because I had already like a basis of what was working. So I only wanted to continue doing what was working, and I wanted to add some guardrails into the
I
way that
think
I was
there's
posting.
phases. I think there's phases in there. There's phases
Yeah,
that you might start and you might go, okay, I'm going to go all volume, and then I'm
yeah,
going to figure out five pillars from this high volume, and then I'm going to just target those 5 pillars, pull back, do those 5 pillars only, and let them see how the spread is between those individual 5 pillars, what's coming where, which one's the most valuable. And then once you do understand that even more, then you can start to push it back forward again.
exactly. Exactly. It comes in phases, brother. It comes in phases. Like I'm in a phase right now where I want like my goal, and I'm going to be open about this on the podcast because I want to share with you guys my reality. My goal is to make that. I want my first 6-figure month. That's my goal.
Mm,
So I have to be like on top of every single number, bro. Every single
yeah,
decimal. I have to be on top
yeah,
of it because it's a level that I've never been before. So for me, it's pulling back on certain things and cutting a lot of fat in my business, cutting a lot of fat
yeah.
in my business and in my personal life and in my operations, right? So that's my reasoning behind doing a move like that and lowering the volume. But by all means, if you're doing 4 or 5 figures and that's your goal, volume, volume, volume at first, volume, volume, volume. So then, as Dudley said, you can understand which pillars work best for you for the kind of impact you want to have. Some of you may be watching this and you're like, okay, but I don't care about 6-figure months. I don't care. I don't even care about 5-figure months, frankly. I just want to have impact. I want to have a personal brand. Then in your specific case, that's what you got to aim for. You got to go for that volume because you just want the most amount of people to know your name possible. And then once you have that, then you can funnel it down.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've seen on social media like we are coming in 2026. Like volume is being pushed a lot more than it has been in the past.
Hmm.
I think because people are consuming more content, that
Hmm.
we're able to put out more content to test. Because if it's just, I feel like a risk when I'm like, if I'm posting 3 times a week, my competitor might be posting more times a week and building up that connection, especially with a connection with the audience, especially with this kind of content that's doing really well right now, which is not really highly edited. It's literally just on your phone, talking to the camera. Like that is generating a lot of sales for a lot of people now, and that's some of my best content that generates the most engagement, the most DMs, the most buy-in. When I literally just get my phone and I just talk to my phone like this, because it's such easy content and people are pumping this out at volume and really benefited from it. So that's why it scares me to kind of say, right, how do I pull back and not get overwhelmed by someone that is pumping out volume and getting buy-in just because I'm not there in front of the audience?
Mm. Mm. I do run strategically paid as well. So that's also to take into
That's something that we've not
consideration.
even touched on as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
So
yeah.
Yeah, so I've recently started going into a little bit of the paid side of stuff. Everything that I've always built has been organic,
Mm.
but I've started to touch a little bit into the paid side of stuff and bringing in followers and stuff through that. Do you have a specific strategy for that in terms of like the hooks, the volume of creatives that you use? Because you'll have to create a lot for that as well. Because there's been a recent switch with meta ads, aren't there, in terms of like the new Andromeda
Yeah,
update, which is
yeah,
pushing more onto the volume of creatives that you can now put out. So it just adds more creative
yeah.
stuff that we need to be doing.
Yeah, yeah. Since I'm B2B, what I'm doing is I'm doing two ad sets with around six different creatives each, and I have a second campaign for story ads, story sequence ads. Dudley,
Mm,
you're a follower of mine. You see like my story sequences that I post almost on a daily basis. So
yeah,
I do those. I add those in the story sequence ad set as well as retargeting. But for the two different ad sets, and I run a follower campaign, and I have two different ad sets in the follower campaign. I have the same creatives in both ad sets, around six each. What I have right now, I test them for 2 3 days. I see which ones are good, which ones are actually like bringing me the most amount of clicks, the most amount of follows, and qualified follows. And on each ad set, I'm running one broad and I'm running one broad and one niche. So one of them, I'm targeting like coaches, specifically online coaches, field of study, personal training, job title, personal training, um, business as well, like interests, my fitness pal, things like that. Um, and then on the other end, I'm running it broad. I'm running it on a lookalike audience. If for those of you
yeah,
who don't know, you can create a lookalike audience for I'm running like the last 90 days of people that engaged on my posts, a lookalike audience to that specific archetype.
yeah.
So one broad, one niche. On the broad, I'm getting a lot of hate. A lot of people calling me a scammer, if I'm being honest. But on the niche, I'm getting a lot of qualified follows, a lot of qualified likes, interactions, and then me, my setter is going. He's on the ball with that, and he's contacting everyone and leading with value. And here's another thing: I know Dudley is against cold DMing, things like that. I'm against it too. But I see it as a tool, especially if I have nothing, right? I see it as a tool and it's
Mm,
only done well if you lead with value. So here's some free game for you guys. You want to proactively lead with value because most of you guys watching this, you're probably in the info space, you probably have a coaching program. So you proactively understand their number one obstacle point. And me, what I have on my YouTube is I have a library of like 20 plus videos, both listed and unlisted, solving very specific problems. So if a guy's telling me that he doesn't know how to convert in the DMs, then I have a 20-minute video explaining my entire DM script and what to do. If a guy's telling me I'm struggling with content, like I don't know how to edit, I have an editing tutorial. I have a CapCut tutorial that I'll send his way, right? So it's being proactive in creating these assets and being proactive in leading with value, especially in today's game. Like someone DMs you, you know they're gonna sell you something. Come on. We
yeah,
know it. We
yeah,
know it in today's game. It's like, yo, what's up? I mean, every human relationship possible is transactional. Like,
yeah,
guys,
yeah,
so every human relationship is transactional, right? So just knowing this, people are not stupid. When you hop in their DMs, they know, okay, what does this guy want from me? He wants to sell me something. But imagine if you led with value, with the genuine desire to, hey, you have this problem. Here's a thing that I use to solve this problem when I was having that problem, or here's something that my clients use to when I'm solving that problem. So to solve that problem, I mean. So if your clients, if let's say you're a fat loss coach, and you're talking to someone that is struggling with binge eating, yo-yo dieting, you should have a video breakdown on it. You should have a 20-minute breakdown
yeah,
on yo-yo dieting and where it stems from, the psychological roots of yo-yo dieting, and really how to solve it. Send it their way. Wait until they watch it. 9 times out of 10, they're going to text you back and say, oh my God, that really helped me. Okay. Would it
yeah.
help if we hopped on a
So
call? Hmm.
what qualifies as cold to you though? Because if I'm seeing some sort of engagement on the feed or some sort of engagement anywhere on your page, I wouldn't class that as cold. I'd say that's still a pretty
Yeah,
decent.
it's
That's a
warm.
warm outreach, especially if you're creating content that's going to create qualified people coming into the page. Like it's easy for me when someone does follow me, I can message them and lead with value, and it
Hmm.
will be received well.
Yeah.
But what a lot of people would try to do is just straight cold outreach that have never engaged with a profile before. And I think that is a lot harder in today's age of
It
just
is. It
straight
is.
cold on Instagram, like cold, never engaged with your page, never seen with you before.
It is.
Like doing that is tough. But if they've shown any sort of engagement, as long as you're putting the right content out, and the I'd class them as warm, and I'd say that you can lead with value. Like what I'll do is when I'm having conversations in the DMs, I'll have a YouTube video that I can send, or obviously we have stuff in the community which is obviously not free, but I'll say, look, we have this in the community if they're not a community member, and for the community members that do, I'd ask questions. It's easy to just tag them in a post. And say, right, go and look at this post, go and look at this post. And I'm so excited for like 2026 to build this out even more, because just like you've got your resources and stuff there, we want this in the lab to literally have everything. Right now we have like the
Yep.
playbooks, which you can go through and get the story to the story play. We've got the zero point 0.5 play, we've got the data driven play. So all these are just like little plays that you can use within your content. So if it's like, oh, I'm struggling with something, tag them in something in the playbook. But one thing that I really want to do the rest of the year is build out a Creator Plus section. So you know, like you said, you've got the CapCut tutorial. That's something that currently I don't have. I'll go through and screen share and go through and or maybe go back and forth on WhatsApp with clients when they have those issues. But to have that is super valuable. So I want to build out a whole Creator Plus section, and that Creator Plus section wants to be covering everything from lighting to camera settings to CapCut tutorials to everything around like the actual zone of creation. And we've actually just split up our weekly calls too, because we do weekly calls with like everyone in the community, and we've just split those up because every single week we're kind of going in and just talking, which around certain topics, which is great. But I feel like the creativity side needs to be hit more. Sometimes we can focus too much on strategy because everyone wants clients. Everyone just wants clients, and we need to
Yeah.
remember we need to be creating. We still need to keep the creative side like up there when content is so important. Not just thinking about strategy. So we go back to back weeks now. We're going to be doing creative weeks, and then strategy weeks, and then creative weeks, and then strategy weeks. So on those creative weeks, we'll be able to cover like the editing and stuff there.
I see.
Because one big friction for me in the past has been, if we're talking about being proactive, is sorting out your editing flow. If you're editing your own content, because I know countless of coaches that'll sit there for 2 hours trying to edit a 1 minute reel. Is it really worth it? Do you need to sort out your editing flow? That's where these videos can come into, because I think people try and over edit as well.
Yeah.
You need
Yeah.
to
There's
not get caught in the trap of over editing.
Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. Like I used to be one of those guys. I used to be one of those guys that would try to over edit and everything. Cause I used to own a short form agency back in the Talking Head prime. In the Talking
Yeah.
Head prime, bro, where
Yeah.
it
Everything
was, yeah, personal, impersonal B-roll. You're a white dude talking about sustainability, and then like it's a B-roll of some overweight black lady trying to eat healthy. You know, it just doesn't make sense. Like make it personal. At least use your own B-roll, things like that. But yeah, something that I love about what you just said is proactively. This is the as a info owner and as a coaching as someone who has a coaching business, this is one of the best ways to buy back your time and to be efficient with your time. Because I know a lot of you watching this, something that you're experiencing is you're repeating information check in after check in. Hence the importance of having resources. So you
Yeah.
get
Resource.
every check in, someone asks you, "Can I eat a banana, coach?" You should have a video about why you should not eat a banana if it's not on your plan. Maybe I'm simplifying it or vulgarizing it, but I think you guys get the point. And as they join your program, it's a requirement for them to go through those video topics. So then your check-ins with them become data driven. And instead of being 1 hour long therapy sessions, they become 15, 20-minute long data. Here's what you got to do. Here's what I recommend, because obviously you need to come prepared for these calls, right? You can become prepared. You look at their check-in, you look at all the data you need to look at so you can give them the right action steps forward. Or even some coaches I know, they do Loom. right? They do loom check-ins, and they don't
Yeah,
even do video
that's
calls.
kind
They
of the
send
thing over
notes.
here. Most people don't do calls, maybe like once a month call, but I think all the coaches over here is Loom.
Yeah,
Do you know what I do? I do a mix. So what I do in my check-in form is, I say, how do you want your response? Do you want a voice note? Do you want a Loom video, or do you want to book in a call? And then the call link's there to go book in. And you know what? Some people literally just want a voice note.
yeah,
Like, especially bodybuilders, they don't give a fuck about no Zoom. They don't give a fuck about no. But tell me
exactly.
in a voice. You don't even need a voice note. If there was a text message option that said just put a text message in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
No,
I'd say
me.
Loom is the most primary thing that I'm seeing. But I give him the option. Giving the option sometimes good because it
Mhm.
saves your time as well. Why are you doing a Loom video? Why are you doing a call if the client don't even want a call?
Yeah,
The client just wants
100%.
a thumbs up. Some people, like I said, bodybuilders, obviously that I work with, they literally want bare minimum. Coach, it's good. Yeah, keep it moving. Thanks, coach. In a bit.
Yeah, exactly. Me, I like being coached like that. I don't like fucking back and forth.
Yes,
I'm just like,
Graham.
any adjustments? Do I eat more or less? What is it? What do I need to do,
I
coach?
don't want, but I feel like everyone's feeling like they have to be using these fancy apps and stuff like that. But I've done these podcasts with Jason and stuff while I've been
Hmm.
here in Dubai, and we were speaking about like, and even Ben Bray too. We from the era of just like WhatsApp coaching because we've been in this for so long, where it was literally just a WhatsApp message back and forth, boom, get it done, it's done. But now I feel like consumer expectation is very, very high within coaching. Like it's
Yeah,
never been this high before. They're expecting apps, and if you've not got an app, oh, this next coach has got an app. This next coach does this. Next coach that. So we're kind of, I think some coaches feel forced into doing that stuff, even though it doesn't necessarily make the service better. Because you only need your base information. I mean, the most successful guys in the world, probably like the top people in the world that look the best in the world, they probably just get a thumbs up, keep it moving.
yeah, yeah, yeah. One of my clients, literally, he tried to ask me for a refund because he was losing weight. I wanted to give. I was doing a body recomp with him. He was like at 15% body fat. Got him down to like 8%. When he was around 10%, I don't know. He must have been having a bad day or something. So during a check-in, I said, "Nice weight drop." Because his weight's going down. That's what I want to see, right? Okay, weight's going
Yeah.
down. You're getting leaner. You're not losing any muscle mass. Everything's looking good. I just sent him nice weight drop, and I wake up the next morning, bro, with like 10 paragraphs of how like he spoke to another guy and his coach has an app. His coach has this. His coach has that. Da 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 da. And then I literally say, go look at your before and after picture and come back to me.
That's what it's all about. But the consumer's expectations are so high, so
Yeah,
high. All right, wait, let's transition this to the end now. Keep it on topic with
yeah.
buying back time and finish it off because we've talked about kind of buying back time within business. Let's talk about buying back time, like other areas of life that we can do in terms
Mhm.
of getting your meal preps, hiring a cleaner. Like, what steps have you taken in other areas of your life or maybe not taken yet, but are definitely looking at taking to buy back some of that time so you can focus it more on the business?
I may offend some people saying this, but I don't give a fuck, frankly. I'm a very traditional man. I have a wife. I make the money,
How to buy back time? Get a wife. That's it.
get a
All them
wife.
other boxes, cooking the food, the cleaning the house. It's all sorted. But for me as a single
Exactly.
guy, I'm gonna have to pay someone to do. I guess you are paying for your wife, though. I mean,
I am, bro.
yeah, probably more than a cleaner.
Yeah.
It's a good wage to get.
Yeah. But no, I have a wife and she's very happy with what she does, with the traditional gender roles, right? Because I'm a very
Mm,
traditional person, very traditional male. Like I'll make sure that everything is taken care of in terms of physical, financial, mental, emotional protection. That's why I'm there and she's there to nurture. She's there to make sure I get my meal on time while I'm focused, laser focused on my screen. That's it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
So
That's
for
exactly
me,
what you need. But if you are a single guy and you don't have the benefits of having a wife, then you have to look at stuff differently. Like me, gonna have to maybe buying a cleaner, 100% for me because I hate cleaning and it takes up so much time, like just vacuuming the house. And with the amount of meals that I'm eating as well as a bodybuilder, well, I guess I'm not a retired bodybuilder, should I say? I can't say that anymore. But yeah, I've got plates everywhere. I've got this everywhere. I need someone to just come in and clean everything. That's my number one priority, getting that sorted. I've been saying that for the last few months. But I've just been sorting out my new place where I'm living. But I'm like, as soon as I get back from Dubai, it's a main priority for me to just get that sorted. In terms of meal prep as well, meal prep sponsors and stuff like that happily help me out every now and again when I really do need it. So that's good. I just need to make sure either I've prepped for a week if I do have the time to do it on, say, like a Sunday, or I just buy in the food, because that money that extra bit of cash that you're spending on the food is better spent on the business, because your hourly rate, that's what we've got to say. What's your hourly rate at your laptop, at your desktop? Is it more than the extra £3 that you're going to pay for a meal prep company to do your meals for a meal? That's how you've got to weigh it up. Is there any other things apart from cooking and cleaning that I have to say they're the two biggest things?
It's because we're very focused men. So that's like we're here all day
What
in
else
front
do
of the
you do?
laptop. Nothing else, bro.
Yeah,
That's all we need. We need to make sure we're in a clean environment to focus and avoid mental clarity, and we need to make sure we're well fed, so
yeah.
we can keep getting bigger and more jacked. You know, anything else, everything else is a luxury. Everything else is a luxury. For me,
All
it's
right.
laptop, screens, food, gym. Everything else is a luxury.
So we've covered pretty much everything there, talking about reactive, proactive ways to buy back time within your business, and to keep yourself pushing forward. So I'd say, to close this off, the main thing that you need to remember is reactive. If you're reactive, it's rented time. If you're proactive, it's owned time. And owning your time is the most important thing in your life and in your business. If you can do that, then you're going to be absolutely set to keep growing. Any
Yeah.
close off from you, Gabe?
What Dudley said. Couldn't have said it better myself, man.
Solid. All right. Stay tuned for the next episode in a bit.